All right, we'll turn off all of this stuff, get the blocker off the screen too, and then here we go. So we're going to see Hannodins bringing the Beastmen against Katam's Dark Elves. Now let's kick it into slow motion really quick, and we'll just go over these armies before the action gets started. So starting with the red player, just to switch things up, let's start here with the infantry. Going to have the front line consisting of 1, 2, 3, 4 Dread Spears. Then going to have 2 Black Ark Corsairs. They do have decent armor up at 80, I believe. Yep. So that does make them effective against a lot of Beastmen infantry, except for Bestigor, of course. For the cavalry, we're going to have a very strong right flank here with 3 Cold One Knights. We also have the Sisters of Singing Doom ROR Witch Elves with 2 Dark Riders and a Feral Manticore too. So a second Feral Manticore going to be in the air in the center of this formation. And then we do have the Sorceress of Fire going to be bringing Flaming Sword of Ruin, Burning Head, and Kindle Flame, but no Fireball. Usually you see that. But over here we have Lokir Fellheart. He is on foot. You don't see him too often, but he has that badass dragon cloak. And let's see what he's brought. So we got Dreaded Duelist, Helm of the Kraken, Merciless Slaver, and that's going to be it. So good old Lokir Fellheart on foot. Don't see that often. Once again, I beat a dead horse, but one of my favorite parts about Fresh Recruit tournaments is seeing the fresh thought put into the game from these new players who aren't currently settled up in the top tier meta, you know? But going over to the Beastmen and kicking it into full speed, we see a Cygor, as we also saw its boulder come into screen there when we were covering the Dark Elves. Going to have 2 Ungor Raiders up front, 1, 2, 3 units of Ungor Spearmen. We're going to have 2 Chaos Bond, 2 Razor Gore Herd in the rear for that armor piercing and mass. And then we have a single Chaos Warhound with poison. Darker, thank you so much for the donation, man. That's very, very kind of you. Much appreciated, my friend. We got a Brave Shaman of Wild down here on foot with the Jagged Dagger, as well as Savage Dominion and Traderkin, along with Bestial Surge, and then Morgor with both of his summons. Now let's see what happens from here as Mr. Cygor continues to throw his rocks, and I absolutely love the Cygor. Especially against Dark Elves. Right now it looks like our Dark Elf player is actually doing a pretty decent job of dodging the incoming boulders, or maybe Cygor here is a little bit drunk. Maybe him having one eye and no depth perception is finally catching up with him, because man, he is missing so many shots, and that was a beautiful targeting, and it just barely missed it. But if he gets another boulder off, oh look at that, the Dark Elves being smart, splitting off that second infantry unit so they aren't blobbed up to take that boulder to the face like the Black Corsairs just did. So obviously, the initiative is in the Beastmen's favor since they have all of the ranged power and the artillery. But now the Dark Elves have closed the gap, and here comes the first Burning Head, devastating Destroyers of Drakkwald. The second unit of Ungor Spearmen deftly maneuvered behind that front line so they can avoid the incoming Burning Head. So already a nice spell from the Dark Elf player, but a nice dodge to mitigate the disaster from the Beastmen. Terror kicking in on that frontline engagement for the Black Ark Corsairs, the Eye of Morsleb being useful for that as well, not just because of its artillery. And then we're going to be seeing the Chaos Bond coming out to engage the Cold One Knights. Cold One Knights do have a bonus versus large, but not the best weapon strength since they have a lot of AP. And it looks like Traderkin going to go down on top of them, slowing these guys down to a crawl so they can hardly pull out at 19 speed. And also doing quite a bit of damage too, as more Chaos Bond are sent into combat to pin them in place. And Ungor Spearmen Herd are coming in to fill the gaps too. So right now these Cold One Knights getting really bad engagements in my opinion. We do see some Dark Riders getting into the rear though. We'll see what happens from here. But right now it looks like the Chaos Spawn across the front line for the Beastmen are shoring up the leadership and keeping things from breaking through. And the Dark Elves, who are really relying on this kind of rush focused build, are having a hard time cracking this nut. And if they keep losing people like this, it's going to be no good for them. However, nice Burning Head going through, doing some friendly fire though, and we'll see if that's enough to turn the tide here. Balance of power relatively even, but definitely Beastmen favored. Chaos Warhounds with poison, still full health. I love to see that. Nice to see these skirmishing units in good health towards the mid-game here. However, getting charged by Dark Riders and the Sorceress. Some Ungor Spearmen Herd are in here too, though, and it looks like they may be the X-Factor to help the Poison Warhounds win, but look at that. The leadership is wavering, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. Over here, a Cygor Summon Savage Dominion being cast by the Brave Shaman, and it is going to be cast on top of Morgor to help counter the Sisters of Singing Doom and a Manticore, it would seem. Over here, Destroyers of Drakwald getting back into combat to help these tattered remnants of Chaos Spawn. Their poison should be very useful, but also the Chaos Spawn already have poison, so silly me. Manticore not doing too well against the Morsleb. The summoned Cygor is helping a lot. Morgor still taking a ton of damage, though. Over here, Ungor Raiders still healthy, still very high in ammunition. And yeah, the balance of power continues to go towards the Beastmen right now. Over here, some nice work from our Dark Elf player chasing these guys, well, towards the edge of the map. Hopefully they route off. It looks like they should. Yep, there they go. Manticore's routing. It looks like the center is starting to go to the Beastmen here. Morsleb has taken some serious damage, but overall, looks like the Cold One Knights are on their last leg. Sorcerer of Fire is also on the last leg. Sisters of Stinging Doom have no health that you can see on that bar. And looks like this is going to be a Beastman game, but a very nice play from both players here. And yeah, GG, and it looks like we're going to go to round 2 with Hannodins having a nice 1-0 lead, so I guess we'll see from here if he can shut him out 2-0 or if Katam is going to come back in round 2 to bring it to the ace match. Man, they really need to do something about the blood in this game. It's like I really enjoy the visceral impact of it, like when a boulder slams into a bunch of units and just like you see intestine just go flying, but it really ruins the models when it's just thrown all over them like a bucket of paint. Looks like, you know, a Greenpeace protester just threw a bucket of rabbit blood all over this person wearing fur, not even realizing that the Cygor is a beast itself. Lokir Fellheart still hanging in there. I don't know why I didn't notice him most of the game. I guess that's not a good sign, because yeah, Lokir would destroy Morgor in a 1v1, but I guess I don't know. He might have been pinned in place. That's the problem with him on foot, is he doesn't have a lot of mass to kind of choose his engagements. Am I trying to imply that everybody does not have 800 gallons of blood inside them? I would never, especially in the Warhammer universe. They have extra blood in Warhammer, but this is excessive. Yeah, Lokir's not flashing. He's just flying under the radar. Damn. Doesn't look goof. It looks good. I got your drift. Source Blood. Even in terms of duelist. But I still think against an unarmored lord who relies on regeneration like Morgor, I think Lokir would dominate. I guess I might not put money on it. No, I actually would. Because, oh yeah, Lokir has regeneration too when he's in combat. So, I think Lokir wins that. But let's update the scoreboard, folks, and get ready to watch round 2. I mean, the battle was pretty straightforward. It's a very popular tactic against the Dark Elves. Hey, Chaos Infection, thank you. Chaotic Infection, thank you so much for the follow, man. Really appreciate that, and the incredibly generous donation. I can't believe you donated to me before you'd even followed me, so much appreciated, and welcome if you're new to the stream. But this build is one that I like quite a lot against Dark Elves. The only difference between, I think, the builds I would typically go for is I bring less Chaos Spawn, like 2, 3 max. And then with the extra money, like if I take off 2 Chaos Spawn, I get a second Bray Shaman. And then I have them both on Chariots. It can be risky against Cold Knights and stuff, but I like the Bray Shaman on Chariots because they're very, very effective counter to like Black Art Corsairs and any elite infantry the Dark Elves will bring, as long as you're safe with them. That's the key. Because yeah, you get less Chaos Spawn, and in this battle it looked very important that he had every last one of these. But yeah, overall this build very nice. I like it. The Poison Warhound's a nice touch. They're absolutely, you know, they're one of the key components of this build, and that's why I like this. There's a little bit of everything, a little bit of range power to poke at your enemy, a little bit of extreme speed to, 1, intercept opponents and poison them in their engagements, but 2, to chase units off the map, to harass skirmishers. harry the back line. And then you have 4 Chaos Spawn just to keep this front line of Ungor Spearman herd nailed down because they're unbreakable, cause poison. These guys have bonus versus large, and a huge HP pool and 120 models. So, yeah, and then armor piercing from the Razor Gore herd. They provide mass 2 in case the Dark Elves bring, let's say, chariots. But also, I don't think they're a bad trade against Cold One Knights, especially for the cost difference. And the Eye of Marsleb is just the ultimate pressure tool. I mean, really, the Dark Elves, if they brought, like, Reaper Bolt Throwers, I guess the Cygor could become a liability, but it outranges them. And overall, I think if the Dark Elves bringing 2 Reaper Bolt Throwers against the Beastman player, it's not going to be the most effective. Hey, Slayer, good to see you, man. I'm doing well. Much better than I was probably the last time you saw me. I don't know. When was the last time you were in stream? But, yeah. Back's feeling better. Still need to... working on getting back in shape, getting back into the game after the accident, but yeah, no complaints, man. We got the final stage of the playoffs on Saturday. Last weekend was a clusterfuck, but I made a decision and I feel okay with it, so we will see who comes out on top for Season 7 of the HW League playoffs this Saturday. Ooh, Chaos versus Empire. This is about all I like. Oh, that's fair. Well, ODM Slayer, yeah, my bad. It has been a while. I mean, I feel like I've talked to you since then, but you really haven't played in a long time. But yeah, the accident I had, I was mountain biking in October of 2020. Well, I guess November technically. It was like October 30th. And I broke my back, my rib, and my collarbone, and punctured a lung. So that's the accident I was referring to, so... feeling better, not in a body cast anymore. Wah, wah, wah. But yeah, so I just, yeah, in case you didn't know, now you know. Are you thinking about playing Warhammer anytime soon? Because I know it was school for you, right? Is that why you took a break, or are you just kind of sick of the game? Oh, no, just kidding. You just, yeah, student, it's really hard. How many more years do you got? 2? Ooh, I like both of these armies. Sometimes sneaking a bit here, but last year I was doing my exchange here in Moscow, so I want to enjoy and not playing. So a year and a half more and I'm done. Hell yeah, man. Well, whenever you finish up, hope to see you back in the game. We could use some fresh competition from people in the old school. But going to this battle now, let's actually just pause it really quick. High-level overview of the army compositions here. Chaos Marauders, got 3 of them. We have the Mirror Guard, we have Forsaken. Gonna have Chaos Knights with Lances, Marauder Horsemen, Poison Warhounds, and Marauder Horsemen, so 2 and 2. We're gonna have, oh, make that 3. There's a third one here in the rear. And we're also gonna be seeing Dragon Ogres, not the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. We got 2 Feral Manticores up in the air. And then for the leader, it looks like we have Sartorial, the Everwatcher. He's going to be bringing Stand or Die, along with Arcane Conduit. Is that Scroll of Power? Yeah, Scroll of Power, Final Transmutation, Plague of Rust, and Metal Shifting. Now, kicking it into slow-mo here, we have the Empire. Looks like we're going to see Free Company and Militia making up the front line, including the ROR Sterling's Revenge. I absolutely love this. Free Company Militia are dope. And then we have an Unbreakable second line, 2 Flagellants and the Sigmar Sons. And then in the rear, in the third rank, so basically we're seeing the Roman formation here. We got the Triarii in the back. We got 1, 2 units of Spearmen and then 2 Halberdiers. We're also going to be seeing Empire Knights scattered throughout. We have 2 of them. And then Knights of the Blazing Sun on the far right flank here with their Flaming Lances. Now, other than this, we are going to be seeing a Bright Wizard on foot. He's going to be bringing Fireball. And then we have a Jade Wizard on foot with Regrowth and Earthblood and Lifebloom. Carl Franz up in the air with his full kit. And that's going to round it out. So let's kick it into full speed. Oh, crap. A Steam message just came up and blocked my play button. There it is. Okay, so here we are. Sartorial against Carl. Yeah, this Empire army is very interesting, but I like it. I think this is a smart build. We'll see if I eat my words or not, but this build has potential, if you ask me. Especially if the Knights are used well. And right now, going to be crushing the Warhounds with poison, but getting a counter charge from the Chaos Knights with the Lances. And that is not going to go well for the Empire Knights. Chaos Knights with Lances are so much better than them. However, we have Spearmen coming in to support, and also have the armor-piercing rounds of the Sterling Revenge already eliminating these Marauder Horsemen. Down here in the central engagements, the Empire line is remaining firm so far, as they do have those 3 unbreakable units anchoring it down. But that will only last so long. Over here, a final transmutation upgraded, going down on top of Karl Franz. Earthblood is on top of him. We will see if a regrowth goes down on top of him too. But right now, he is taking a ton of damage and is not enjoying life. Looks like there goes the regrowth though, popping on top of Karl, and now we have halberds coming in to support this engagement, but will it be enough? Knights of the Blazing Sun being eliminated quite convincingly by the Dragon Ogres right now. And alright, over here we have Empire Spearmen with shields in combat with Marauder Horsemen, Chaos Knights. Oh, but look at this. Karl Franz diving into combat with that regrowth, getting right back into combat shape. He has halberds supporting him and spearmen, and he is pretty much back up to top damage potential. However, Overcast Plague of Rust is going down on top of him, bringing his armor down to 40, making this Manticore much more deadly, but Karl Franz don't care. He's going to smack that Manticore a couple times, and it's going to think twice. And looks like this engagement may go towards the Empire now. Meanwhile, over here, we're going to see the 2 casters getting threatened by Dragon Ogres. The Dragon Ogres instead, oh, actually, no, they're going to continue just chasing down the casters, not even worrying about the Free Company Militia, who don't have much armor piercing to speak of. However, over here in the frontline engagements, it looks like the Empire is slowly starting to drag it their way. Empire Knights used in conjunction with Halberdiers to start smashing through some of the frontline engagements. The Flagellants, the Forsaken, and the Mirror Guard have not been given attack orders to push through the Flagellants, so this is definitely a big mistake from our Chaos player, not recognizing that his units do not need to be killing these guys down to the last model. They can just push through them at this point because they're so weak and tattered. And meanwhile, on the flanks, while the Chaos forces are not breaking through the center, you're seeing the Empire win the separate flank engagements. Over here, Chaos Knights getting soundly defeated after Karl Franz jumped into combat for a minute. Over here, Dragon Ogres are now in combat with Karl Franz, but with Halberd support nearby, and even just Karl Franz by himself, I think he could possibly pull this off. We will see what the Empire does, though, as it does look like he is thinking twice about this engagement and maybe trying to pull out. There goes Plague of Rust upgraded once again, but will Chaos be able to capitalize? I don't see any skirmishing forces nearby or a Manticore to really capitalize on his lack of armor. Over here, Sartorial, meanwhile, has taken a lot of damage, surprisingly. I guess I've just missed where this has been coming from, but 900 HP left. And over here, Knights of the Blazing Sun coming back, but tattered, but still in the fight with Karl Franz, smashing into the rear of these Forsaken and breaking them. In come the Dragon Ogres, though, trying to counter that Empire charge, and they're going to be smashing into the Knights of the Blazing Sun, and that combat's going to turn quickly against the Empire. Karl Franz escaping, though, rejoining some Halberdiers, which should provide him safety. Mirror Guard over here cleaving through the Sigmar Suns. The Sigmar Suns putting up a noble effort, though, and honestly, if they've been fighting the whole time, that's not been a good trade for the Mirror Guard. Over here, Sartorial the Everwatcher getting very low on HP, and even though he has that crazy missile resistance, he is still going to go down here. He only has 300 HP left. Oh, he's going to be able to get out of range, though? Maybe? Nope. I think Sartorial's going to bite the dust right here, and the Empire, with this very strange build, but like I said at the beginning, I like it a lot, is going to be able to defeat Chaos. Karl going in to finish Sartorial himself, and he does so with a great sense of alacrity. ODM Slayer, have a good night, man. I'll catch you later. Carrying the scene so hard I broke my back. And no worries, ODM Slayer. Sweet. Looking forward to you joining again, my friend. Yeah, I find FCM quite annoying. Oh, Free Company Militia. Yeah. Hey, Melkor99, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Oh, did I have my camera on that whole time? I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't mean to have that on. Yeah, the Gunners made a ton of value. I'm excited to see how they performed. So 550 paying for themselves, more than like double paying themselves, and almost paying for themselves. No, that is paying for themselves. I lied. That's just boohoo value across the Free Company Militia. Empire Knights doing pretty well for themselves across the board. The Cav, I think, doing their job. Infantry, I really liked that like wave formation. Man, yeah, Free Company Militia for the win there. They actually look like they did so much of the key damage to win that fight, and I imagine especially against these Manticores who aren't very armored, so not heavily armored units against Free Company Militia going to suffer greatly. And then Carl is, yeah, a menace of chaos. Sartorial, though, look at that value. 2,100 gold points. Those final transmutations definitely did some work. Alright, let's throw up the army blocker, update the scoreboard, and get to round 3, because guess what, guys? Katam has tied it up, and winner takes all in this next round. And get into it. This is a matchup I regard as fairly even, honestly, so excited to see what the two players go with. Looks like Hannodins opting for some Wraiths to bring the terror here, and let's go and start with him. So 3 Wraiths, going to have 2 zombie deckhand mob with pole arms, and we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, just the regular variant. Got some scurvy dogs off on the left wing of their formation, Lamprey's Revenge holding down the right flank. We're going to have a zombie pirate gunnery mob with handguns, 1, 2, 3, and then we have some bombs, looks like 2 of them up front, and then we're also going to be seeing Count Noctilus on foot with his usual kit, including the summons and the heals. Now, oh, and Wraithstorm, don't forget that. For the Norskins, we have Marauders, 4 of them up front, Marauder Berserkers, 2 of them, including the Brutes of the Hound Unbreakable variant. We're going to have 3 Javelins, and then we're going to have 3 Skinwolves, and 3 Norskin Warhounds, including the Beast of Tashnar. Now, the Norskins trying to close this gap as quickly as possible. The Bombers don't seem to be throwing bombs, interestingly enough. They might be trying to get in range of the Brutes of the Hound, and it looks like they are doing so. Over here for the leadership, we have a Shaman Sorcerer of Fire, going to be bringing Burning Head and Fireball, along with Scroll of Power, and Wulfric the Wanderer with the Sword of Torgal, Hunter of Champions, and the ship, whatever the hell that thing's called. A nice Burning Head coming in here from that Fire Sorcerer, and doing a bit of friendly fire at the end, but allowing the Norskins to clear through a lot of that zombie chaff very quickly. Here comes Seafang. Ah, cool, the name came to me. And it's going to go right through. Oh no, but doing a lot of friendly fire too. Ouch, that's a bit of a misfire, unfortunately, for the Norskins. Over here, we're going to see the Shaman Sorcerer getting a Wraithstorm, getting focused by the handguns, getting shot to pieces. And should be able to route to safety, though. We will see. Count Noctilus doing okay for himself. It looks like, as far as the Norskin assault is going, it's not going well. The backline has been repulsed by Sirens and the Lamprey's Revenge. Skinwolf's trying to thread the needle and get in here, but now I think all they're doing is getting themselves trapped with Sirens and Halberds while they try desperately to kill a gunnery mob, which Skinwolves are not very well suited to deal with. Over here, these Skinwolves trying to find a way in, but just looks to me like this Vampire Coast defense is really well thought out, and the Sirens in particular playing kind of like the rear line role of just like terror routing Warhounds and things like that is actually quite clever. Brutes of the Hound, unbreakable, so you know they'll be around for a while, but taking a ton of damage. Looks like Wulfric the Wanderer is still alive and well, so he is always a big factor to consider as he is quite a deadly duelist. But against Noctilus on foot, I don't know. It might not go the way he's hoping it to go. Just because Noctilus does have high defense, and he also is an anti-large lord. But Hunter of Champions, always a big deal. Over here, summons coming down, and the balance of power continuing to go against the Norskins. And right now, it looks to me like we're going to see a pretty convincing victory here from the Vampire Coast, unless something drastic happens. Because right now, Norska has no magic on the field. I'm looking around, making sure, but it looks to me like that caster got whomped. There goes the second Sea Fang through these handguns. And Norska is nowhere close to dealing with these Sirens. So if you have 3 full health Sirens and no magic damage, I don't see this battle going your way. Over here, Noctilus, though, taking a ton of damage. Look at that. Wolfric the Wanderer not going quietly into the night, continuing to attack him. But why is he not attacking him? That's weird. I don't... wait, what? I don't know why he didn't get any attacks there. That was strange. Yeah, Noctilus and Wolfric duking it out, but now Noctilus has the support of Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob with pole arms, and he just, yeah, Wolfric just got distracted in that combat. Skinwolf's coming in to hit him in the rear. Oh, but there goes a invocation of the heck on top of Count Noctilus. And, yeah, it's looking like a recipe for disaster as the Norskins come into the late game here. Wolfric pinned in place by some Sirens. And it looks like that's going to be it. A Pyrrhic victory for the Vampire Coast, although I would say that last round was quite convincing, although I think both players played this series very, very well. In this last battle, it just looks like Katam, unfortunately, lost his magic too quickly there. And once he lost his magic, you know, it's game over. I don't want to sum it up too simply because, you know, there's other factors that come into play here too, but I mean, I think his infantry was doing okay for itself, and I think if a couple more burning heads could have given them the win. More importantly, burning heads could have helped counter Sirens, but I think this is just kind of a lesson for Katam, you know, for the future, that when he's going up against the Vampire Coast, he can't underestimate the potential for ethereal units. You know, they do have those Sirens. Those Sirens can catch you off guard, and in this matchup I think they're a good pick considering their speed and their easy terror. So I think Norska here maybe wanting to keep that in mind, because even Burning Head, as great as that spell is, it's not the one spell you want to rely on for magic damage if you can go up against Sirens or Hex Wraiths or any of those types of units. So Spirit Leech, always a good one. Fimir Warriors do magic damage inherently. So there's ways to go about it. But great games to both of these players, and a big congratulations to Hannodin for the win. And once again, I forgot to turn off my camera, which is just... Sorry, guys. To the players who watch this replay on YouTube, I'm sorry that I'm not going to go recast it without the camera on, but if I was blocking any important action, please know I regret it.